Okay, James Dooley, thanks for coming in today. I've invited you in to have an initial discussion, bit of a meeting in and around the engagement initiative, and more specifically, uh, the operational plan for our volunteer workforce. So, obviously, Julie representing HR, James as the Director of Nursing. You two are key stakeholders in the volunteering side of things. So, I just wanted to bounce some ideas off you to start with, and see where you're at with the whole process. So I think we'll start, James, with you improving what the ways in which we work with our volunteer workforce. So that's where you'll become involved in that part of it. But the major thing for you from this point is probably the two new positions that we're going to open up, which is the volunteer coordinator and volunteer administrator.
Basically, at the moment, we'll just take any volunteer that we can.
Yep.
The nurses don't really have time to train them.
Sure.
So at most, we just give them instructions and just leave them to do that.
Yep.
So if we can get a couple of new roles specifically for volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, the coordinator and the administrator sound ideal.
Yep.
Essentially, we'll need people with a background in aged care.
Yep.
So the priority for me would be, nurses being able to do their job effectively,
Yep.
and the volunteers are just supporting and.
Sort of supplementing the nursing role.
Yeah. Well, so these new two roles, if they can, combine
Mm-hmm.
to offer the training and daily contact and interaction with the volunteers, that would be ideal.
It'll be structured in and around, so the volunteer coordinator and the administrator will both reside under your umbrella. That way, we have the link between the nursing side of the operation and the volunteer side of the operation through you. So what I might do is we might sit down. If I could get you to stipulate some key elements of the two roles that you want to see looked at.
Yep.
So then we can pass that on to HR and we can develop a recruitment plan in and around that, and some role job descriptions.
Absolutely. So I've got what I consider to be the key roles that those two positions will have.
Excellent.
And from that, we can flesh out specific position descriptions.
After the feedback program with our current volunteering workforce, like I said, we're probably going to be looking at changes to the policy and procedures and how we deal with our volunteer group. And some of those changes may affect the operation of the nursing side of things, in so much as we're hoping to provide a little bit more flexibility around the volunteer working conditions. So what I'd like to see is once we've written a proposal in and around the policy and procedures, we'll get you to have a look at that proposal, and you can provide any input and feedback in and around what might affect the nursing operation. The training at this point in time as well. What we're looking at is probably an external service provider for the initial training side of things with our current employees, and then as you discussed with these new roles, we're going to be looking for a certificate for train the trainer type person who can then continue on that process with new inductees and make sure that we keep that training rolling through what we're doing with our volunteer force.
And so this will be all in the manual that...
Yes, this is all going to be covered in the new rewritten policy and procedures for our volunteers.
That sounds ideal.
Great. So Julie, obviously from a human resources perspective, I'm interested to know, you'll obviously be your department will be the main drivers in and around our comprehensive engagement process with our current volunteer workforce. Just in and around the process, are you comfortable with the idea of carrying out this engagement review?
Certainly. From an HR point of view, we're very happy to proceed. And we certainly feel that to obtain some employee feedback is very important, and I think that we can learn a lot from doing that.
We'll carry out the review, then you and I can sit down, we can collate that information and move then to the next step in and around our policy and procedures and rewriting those. I guess to to attempt to address the issues around our attrition rate. So, as far as resources go, what do you think we will need to carry out the review and collate that review? The two options are we either do like a hard copy type review, or we do it an online type review. What do you think would be the best approach?
Well, in the past, I think that with the age of the workforce and the volunteers, I think that certainly a hard copy would be best, going with a hard copy.
Okay.
You potentially run into issues of older staff, not or older volunteers.
Oh, access to the
computers and printing it out, and whether or not that all becomes a bit daunting to them. Do you know, we want to make it as easy as possible for them.
So what you're thinking, we need to discuss it, maybe look at the external consultancy, someone that's had dealt with similar reviews within the industry, so we can. So what do we? I guess we have to make sure we really concentrate on the questions we ask
They
of
need
our
to be
volunteers.
direct.
Yep.
You don't want it too long-winded. You don't want many questions.
No.
You're dealing with an older.
Volunteer workforce.
That's right.
Do you see any issues in and around the tasking list that I've made there? So obviously, it's a fairly extensive plan, but the whole purpose of it is to make sure we cover all our bases before we start. If you think of anything, if you can think of anything to add, we have flexibility within the contingency side of the plan. But I think to get the ball rolling, we need to get this review done and this feedback information collated so we can push forward with our policy and procedures, and then that'll also drive into our recruitment, which we